Hi everyone, my name is Michał Sornat and today we are going to be making your first game in Unreal Engine 5. So, the purpose of this tutorial is to show you that with relatively putting low effort you can gain and reap awesome result, which would be your very first shipped game that you can run on your PC and roll this ball and jump around and have fun. So, without further ado, let's jump in. Alright, so let's start by creating a new project. In our case, we're gonna choose the game's template, then third person, and we can include starter content to have additional textures. Choose the project location you like and project name. I'm gonna call it Balls Tutorial. Hit create and give Unreal the second. Alright, so first we're gonna create a new level by going to File, New Level. Now we can choose Open World, hit create, and straight away we can save it by going to Save Current Level As. The location is fine in the content folder, name is also fine, hit save. Now open up the content drawer, and those are my materials I imported. But we want to open up the third person folder and then blueprints and then third person character blueprint. So if you go to viewport, you'll see this is our character, this is the camera behind the character. So that's the default UE5 QM sample, and we want to replace it with our ball. So first select it and then we're gonna clear it out, and then we're gonna add a sphere and move it over here. Fine. And now we can assign a material to it. If we type grid, yeah, this one, level grid material, this is really fine because it shows really nice how the ball is rolling. But in my case, I'm gonna choose my own material that comes from my upcoming pack, a fractal pack. It's called Abstract Mineral Auto. Yeah, I think it looks really cool. The next thing, we want to scale our collision cylinder to match the size of the ball. So the value of 50 is just perfect. And now we have to match the position over here. Fine. And straight away we can go to camera boom. This is our camera, and make sure the location is set at 0. So type 0 on the Z axis. Fine. And now if we hit compile and save, minimize it. So now if we hit play, you'll see this is our ball moving around, but the problem is it's not rolling, and we want to make it roll. So hit escape, and we're gonna go back to our blueprint, open up the event graph, and this is the graphs that tells the engine what to do with our character. So we want to manipulate and edit a little bit this section. So first thing, we're gonna right click over here and add custom event and call it roll. Right? Next we need a new variable, hit plus to create it and call it rotation speed for our ball. Hit compile so we can access the default value and change it to 30. You can always play with those values later if you like, but I find 30 to be quite fine. And drag and drop it, our variable over here, get the set, connect the pins and take this one and add pin to a node over here. Next thing, we want to swap the action value y with x and take the x and multiply it. You can hit a star on your keyboard to get the node, and we want to invert the value by typing -1. Connect it back over here. We can take all of those stuff and move it up to have some space. Now take this thing and type add angular impulse in degrees for our capsule component, which is the collision of our character. We want to disconnect this thing, so you can hold Alt and left click over here to disconnect it. And now we want to take our rotation speed and multiply it by our action value y, and our right vector we want to again multiply it by this value, and this will be our impulse to move. You can tick velocity change, so the engine knows that something is happening and our ball can move. Go to collision cylinder and enable physics over here. And now if we hit compile, save, minimize it, and we play, our ball is moving but only in the one direction. So we want to go back to our blueprint, and for a forward backward movement we want to duplicate all of those nodes, so select all of them, Ctrl C and Ctrl V on your keyboard, and we want to take action value x, x, plug it to multiply, and forward vector we want to plug in over here, and now we should move in both directions. We can't. Why? Why is that? Oh yeah, I always forget to connect those pins over here. Now it should be fine. Yeah. Now we can move. And now our ball is rolling. But we can jump. And we want to jump. So to enable jump, we want to go to Edit, Project Settings, and under Engine and Input we want to create a new action mapping, expand it, and we call it Jump. You can click over here on our keyboard and hit space, so that the engine knows that if we hit space our ball should be jumping around. We're gonna take this a little bit down, so we want to add input, or just input jump action events jump. Fine. Now we need a new variable called jump height with type float, another one called jump tracker, which I would explain in just a second, type a boolean, which means it's either true or false. Hit compile to access the default value. For the jump tracker is true, and for the jump height I like to set it to 700, but you can again put whatever you like, lower or higher. So the next thing, we're gonna take the jump height and make vector, and this is the height, so we will connect it to the z-axis, and z stands for the height. Then we're gonna add impulse to jump for a capsule component. We're gonna take our jump tracker, create a new branch by holding B on your keyboard and left clicking. So if this condition is true or false, then we're gonna execute it. So connect it over here. Also tick velocity change, and if we compile and save, we should be able to jump. No? Why? Why is that? Oh, we need to connect this vector to our impulse. If we now jump, you'll see what is happening. We want to jump only once, and after we hit the ground we could jump again. So to enable that, we want to set our jump tracker to negative value. So now we can jump only once, but now we need to tell the engine, hey, if we hit the ground we can jump again. So we go back to our capsule component, and in the collision tab we have to simulate, tick simulation generates hit event, and now we can access this event, hit event hit. Yeah, we're gonna take our jump tracker, and now we will set it to true. So after we hit the ground we can jump again. Hit compile, save. Alright, now we can jump, we can move. So this is the first part of this tutorial, and now the fun part, which will be a little bit of world building. So we will go to the landscape mode and create a ramp in the middle, maybe wherever you want. Click once, click twice, position it however you wish. Add ramp. Oh, it's by the way, it's quite important when working with edit layers, choose flat middle, because if we choose base, let's undo it just quickly to demonstrate. It will match the landscape, and the landscape seems to be flat, but it's actually not totally flat, so we want to choose flat middle. And if you want to make it wider or less wide, you can play with this ramp width slider, but I'm gonna make it wider. Fine. Reset, and on the other end another one, maybe a little bit higher, maybe less steep. Add ramp. Alright, let's test it out. Go to selection and let's gain some momentum. Would be enough. Let's see. Let's go real fast, baby. and jump. Alright, maybe it's a little bit too easy, but for our demonstration purposes, let's stick with it for now. Alright. If you like, you can always go back to the landscape mode and you can choose smooth and smooth it if you like, but be aware that the smooth will give some little bit strange angles, but that's the I guess difficulty factor for our player. For some obstacles, that was fine actually. We can smooth this side. If the smooth brush is too strong, you can always adjust the tool strength. It's still too much. Yeah, just play it around. Now it's time to play. Time to create, time to play. Alright, so maybe it will be interesting to sculpt some terrain. So go to sculpt. We will make the brush size a little bit bigger. Tool strength 0.1, let's see. And now you can sculpt the landscape. Let's undo it. If you want to dig into the ground, just hold shift, and now we can make a hole for some obstacle over here. Let's increase the tool strength and just sculpt some holes, maybe holes around it, to make it more difficult to gain the speed and momentum enough. Yeah. Whatever your imagination will deliver, you can create whatever you wish. That's the magic. That's the fun. Maybe a little bit bigger. Alright, so play it by yourself. I'm gonna fast forward a little bit, so I'm gonna test it out and I'll see you very soon. Alright, so I'm fine with the final result, and now what we can do is to add some rings so that our player can jump through and fly through. So we will go to modeling mode and choose torus over here, place it around. Now adjust the scale, the radius and the minor radius. By default we have 16 sides, but we can increase it to 32 so that our resolution is higher and it looks more smooth and nice. So hit accept, go back to selection, and now we can just simply place our ring whatever we want. So we can switch to rotation gizmo and rotate it by 90 degrees. Go back to our arrow gizmo and just, you know the drill. Scale it, move it, position it. Alright, and before we will test it out, what we can do is to specify the location of our player to be spawning at. So we will open up the place actors window and type start, player start, and place it somewhere around here. Fine. Close it up, close it down, move it a little bit up, and now if we hit play, we'll spawn exactly at this location. So let's see if we can jump. And we are able to do that. Alright, fine. So we are ready to the final step of this tutorial, which would be the creation of the final build ready to be played, so that you can send it to your friend and show him or her, this is my ball rolling around, jumping around. If you want, you can always expand on this map and add some additional rings and ramps and sculpt the landscape some more. But what I'm gonna do now to create the build is go to Edit, Project Settings, and choose Maps and Modes, and for the game default map we'll choose our newly created map. So in my case that's a new map. Fine. And simply go to Platforms, Windows, and choose Package Project. And now we have to specify the location. I'm gonna create a new folder and call it Rolling Balls Build. Okay. And now we will have to give Unreal some time to compile it. It will take probably around 5 minutes or so. So I'm gonna catch you when the process is done. Alright guys, it took me less than 1 minute to cook the final build. So if we open up our build, we'll see that inside we have executable file that we can run. I'm gonna close Unreal and give it a try. Alright, so that's our game. We have our ball, it's moving and rolling and even flying. Alright guys, that's it for this tutorial. Hopefully you have learned something today. If you like to support this channel, hit like and subscribe as well. And if you are into creating your own worlds in Unreal Engine and you're looking for additional assets to your projects, you can check out my channel. There are few trailers for my asset packs that I put on the Unreal Engine marketplace. So you will find all the links in the description. So I invite you to check it out, and once again, thanks for sticking by. Have a great day guys, and see ya.